If I started my design business from scratch, knowing what I know today, what would I do differently? As a self-taught designer who's been freelancing since 2016 after quitting a stable corporate job with no backup plan and now having taught hundreds of other freelancers, I would actually do a lot of things differently. Especially because today we have access to so many tools, so many resources that can help us learn faster, experiment faster, and grow faster as well. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 5 things that I would do if I were starting my freelance journey all over again. To get started, let's actually backtrack a little bit. If you don't know me yet, I'm Gigi and I run my own design studio where I not only help service-based businesses with conversion-led design, but I also teach marketing and sales to other creatives. I'm also a mom. I lived in 3 different countries and 6 different cities, and one word that drives me more than anything is freedom. I started my freelance journey back in 2016 after quitting my corporate job in London as a brand executive. And when I quit, not only I didn't have a backup plan, but I also didn't have any background in design. My background is actually in business and marketing, but I was interested in design and I gained a little bit of self-taught experience of using Adobe programs at my job, as well as some just basic web design practices. And for about 7 months, I did a few small projects on Upwork, but mostly I felt incredibly defeated because honestly, the freelance world really wasn't what it promised to be. It took me a good year or year and a half to actually see some traction and start believing that this is the right path for me. So with all the experience and knowledge that I gained during those years, what would I do differently if I were starting all over again? Well, the first thing is that I would get clear on my offer. How exactly can I help people? What services will I offer them? Back then, my mistake was to try and be a unicorn that pleases everyone. I thought that the more I offered, the more clients I'll get. Graphic design? Sure. Logo? Yes. Website? Hit me. Business cards, banners, brochures, illustrations, patterns? I can do it all. And the problem was that my progress was slow. I was getting better, yes, but not quickly enough to actually improve my skills in all areas, in all the things that I was offering. And B, clients like specialists. And that's not only in design, it's in all areas of life. We prefer working with specialists rather than generalists. So if I were starting from scratch, I would super clear on my offer, on my services, and my deliverables. I would ask myself, what is it that I'm most passionate about? What am I most skilled in? What will my clients actually pay for? What problems am I really solving with the offer? And this brings me to point number 2, understanding who I want to work with. Again, I was ready to work with anyone on anything back then. And yes, that is an important part of experimentation, but it can also make things harder for you. If you try to please everyone, sell to everyone, get heard by everyone, well, you end up being seen by no one, being heard by no one. So if I were starting over, I would specialize not only in my services, but also the type of clients and projects I work with. Now, specializing and niching down doesn't mean you have to choose once and just stick with it forever. You're free to change and pivot as you please. But gaining clarity and focus on who you work with will help you connect with potential clients and convert them faster. Now, with that knowledge, what I offer, what problems I solve, and who I solve it for, I'm going to build my portfolio because that's going to help me attract similar clients. So I'm going to create 2, maybe 3 concept projects for my portfolio that focus on solving a specific problem that my future clients may be experiencing. I'm not going to spend months on this. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to hustle for maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks to really create those quality designs and put them on my website, a Behance portfolio, or whatever it is, so that it's live and accessible when I need to show it to my clients. Now, before I go and share my portfolio with the world, I'm gonna do a quick, what I call honesty check. I'm gonna look at my work, at the way I present myself, and honestly ask myself, would I hire this freelancer? I'm gonna look at, the way I present myself, my work, my copy, all those things, and I'm gonna try and look at this through the eyes of my potential client and honestly ask, is this good? Can I tell what this freelancer does? Can I tell what they specialize in, who they work with? And if the answer to those is yes, then I'm ready for the next step. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I don't want you to get stuck in an infinite perfectioning loop. You can always improve later, but it does need to get the nod of approval from potential clients. All right, so now that I know my offer, I know my client, I have the portfolio that will attract them, it's time to tell the world about it. And this is probably where I made the biggest mistake. For so long, I was ashamed to tell my closest circle that I quit my job and I'm starting from scratch. Honestly, I felt like this was just such a life setback to be starting from zero while all my friends were climbing up the career ladder, were doing all those amazing things. They were working in banking and consulting and whatnot. And here I am designing flyers and getting paid scraps on Upwork. This is the kind of self-talk that was going on in my head. And honestly, it set me back a good 7 to 10 months, I would say. Instead of just reaching out to my closest circle first, what I did is try and find clients who don't know me and never heard of me. And I know many freelancers make the same mistake. But if I were starting over, I would do the complete opposite. Instead of searching for work far and wide, I would actually start from my closest people first. My friends, my family, my coworkers, my ex-manager, my personal social media channels, my ex-professors, my schoolmates, my college mates, my college alumni group, local neighborhood community, church community, tennis club, book club. Honestly, we don't even realize how many people we know and how many people already know us and trust us. So what I would do is share about my new journey on my personal social platforms. I would share some images from my portfolio, ask for help, and ask if anyone needs design help or if anyone knows of anyone, and do that again and again and again. Chances are someone will need your help. Another person will refer you to their friend, and that's how the referral chain begins. Slowly but surely, you start getting your name out there. Now, eventually, the more experience I get and the more testimonials and words of praise I receive from my clients, the wider I can cast my net. But my mistake back then was trying to be everywhere at the same time. And that's because I didn't really know my ideal client really well, and I didn't know where they actually spend time themselves. So I would ask myself, if I were the client looking for a brand designer, a web designer, an illustrator, whatever it is that you specialize in, where, as a client myself, where would I go? What would I do? And if I don't know the answer to this question, I would go and ask people directly, ask people around me, what would they do? So I can hear the real answer. You see, too often we make so many assumptions about the decisions we think our clients will make. We think they're on Instagram, so that's where we spend time. Or we think they experience this type of problem, so we create a solution for that. Or we think they understand our designer lingo, so we use smart words to appear like an expert. but thinking and knowing are very different things. So where do your clients actually spend time online? Where would they go to search for a designer when they need one? And be present there. That's what I would do. And finally, the last thing I would do, and this is playing the long-term game, but I would start providing value sooner. Now, being a great designer and creating beautiful things and developing your skills is important. But with so many talented designers out there, it's not enough anymore. It's not enough to just be a good designer anymore. So besides improving my skills and finding my style and doing all those amazing things, I would also provide value to my clients by spreading knowledge and gaining exposure. This could be a small lunch and learn session at a local co-working space, or maybe collaborating with someone who provides complementary services to mine, maybe launching a YouTube channel, or even guesting on podcasts. This will be a key point of differentiation between me and the hundreds of thousands of designers out there, and will continue to serve me more and more and bring me more opportunities the longer I do it. So there you go. These are the 5 things I would do if I were starting from scratch tomorrow. Now, there are lots of mental shifts I would do as well. I definitely learned a lot along the way, but I think I'm going to keep this for another video. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe and comment what would you do differently, knowing what you know today if you were starting your freelance journey from zero. And if you need an extra boost to help you in your freelance business, check out the links in the description for some awesome resources to help you along the way. And I will see you in the next video.